Okay, so hi everybody, and thanks for joining me tonight instead of our afternoon session because I had a few issues for the afternoon. But hi everybody, and welcome to today's film club meeting. And today, as you can see, we are discussing the movie The Birds, a Hitchcock film, and I kind of thought we would do something like more thriller, horror kind of film. And I could have done Psycho. I really wanted to start with Psycho, but I thought The Birds would be slightly more discussable, and we could save Psycho for a little later. Anyway, all that aside, yeah, the movie is probably one of the most beautiful movies ever made, I feel. And a lot of critical acclaim and award winning. And it has basically won a lot of awards for just the brilliant direction, the brilliant cinematography, and just the way the film looked. It was really revolutionary for its time. And obviously, it's a Hitchcock film, so there's always that element of suspense, and everything to the movie is like it's not what it seems. But yeah, I will let everybody tell me what they thought of the film first, what they thought it was about, and everything. And then I have a few notes which we can go through, and we'll talk about the film. So, Shrish, would you like to lead us off? And as usual, if you don't want to speak or be involved, you can put a little asterisk near your name. Just rename yourself with a little star, and we will know not to call upon you. So, Shrish, would you like to start? What do you think of the film?
Yeah, yeah, okay. So I'm not like I don't watch a lot of horror films, so I was expecting like the typical jump scare and stuff like that. This was pretty different in the sense that it, those kind of tricks are not used, meaning it was a little more subtle. The thought itself was a little more, what to say, unnerving. Like I guess the only other horror film which I had watched was like Eraserhead, and I don't know if you can call it a horror film. It's like whatever, it's a real kind of thing. So, but yeah, it was a good. It's meaning okay. Now I think I might be able to watch a lot more horror films. Plus, the storyline is pretty basic. The way it was shot and the way the story was told is what's very charming about the film. And yeah, as always, we saw Alfred Hitchcock doing his cameo, which was also wonderful as a yeah his trademark cameo in the beginning. Yeah, that those are my thoughts for now, like as an intro. I guess if Anish would like to tell his thoughts, I nominate Anish for this
Sure.
next thing.
So I mean, if I hadn't read the storyline, I mean I didn't, but like if I'd seen the movie, for the first 30, 40 minutes, who would have guessed that it was a horror movie, right? So the story builds up in the normal rom-com way and stuff like that. And I never really thought it would have been like the first 40 minutes. Don't give away any of the plot, and it never feels like a horror movie. But then it slowly builds, and I mean, this is a typical characteristic Hitchcock movie. Those camera angles. I mean, the suspense and like Sheesh mentioned his cameo. So all of those elements make it a very typical Hitchcock movie. But who would have thought that? Who would have thought about taking birds and then amplifying it into a horror movie? Like I think it was one. I'm not aware, but like I've never seen birds being used in horror in movies. So it was a very unique concept, and there are quite a few highlights. But then we'll get into that as we progress through the movie.
Yeah, precisely. So the whole concept of being scared of birds coming swooping down, attacking you, and birds being the center of the whole film, it's really new. And hello, Shubham, welcome.
And yes, I'm not kidding. So I was watching this movie. I mentioned it to Shrish. I was watching this movie at around 5:30 today in the evening, and while I was watching, there were birds outside creaking as well. So it was kind of spooky. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's the whole point of a horror thing, of a horror movie.
Yeah, precisely. So it wasn't like she said earlier, it wasn't your typical jump scare, it wasn't a psychopathic killer with a knife. It wasn't, the typical story like this brave bunch of guys move into a haunted house even though people told them not to, and they mess with the wrong stuff even though people told them not to. It's not that. It's much deeper, and it isn't just what it seems right on the surface. So anybody else? Would one of the newbies want to go? Divya, maybe, since you've been here often. What are your thoughts?
I found the movie really interesting and an innovative thriller, and it really went in the movie unfolded really unexpectedly. Also, since the bird's motive wasn't explained, I think that added a sense of tension and mystery to the whole movie, even at the end. And also, there was an absence of background music, so that also added a kind of calm before the storm feeling.
Yes, precisely. So the only time we see music in this whole film is when she was playing the piano. There is no music to the whole film, and just the screechy birds is the only background sound we hear in the whole movie, and that actually builds up that whole tension within you. And exactly like Divya said, we never know why, we never know how, we don't know who's doing it. And I think, at least me, when I was watching the movie, I kept waiting for that big reveal in the end. Oh, you're the one doing it. Oh, this was, and that never came. So that was also like a bit off-putting. I was at the end of the movie, I was like, huh, really? Okay. And then only when you watch it again or you think about it a lot, then you realize, okay, this is what was happening in the movie. Anybody else would like to contribute? Yash, Leandra, anybody?
Hi.
Again, I think that was another characteristic Hitchcockian style that we see towards the end, right? The anticlimax. So it just keeps you guessing and it leaves you guessing towards the end, and you just don't know what went wrong. But I mean, it sounds incomplete, but at the end, you just have fun with it.
Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to ask the big question, okay? What do you guys think the movie was about? I want you not, I don't want to know what you felt about the movie. I don't want to know what you thought the plot was. Just tell me what you thought the movie was about. I'd love, especially after a Hitchcock movie, he is a master of double speak and a master of, he says one thing but means 10. So I would like everybody to give your interpretation of the movie. Okay, maybe Shri Shanish could go first, and anybody else who wants to can raise their hand. Shirish, what do you think the movie was actually about? Was it about birds attacking people? Was it just that simple, or do you think it had a message underneath it?
Okay, so here's the thing. When I watched the film for the first time, that was today. So, but yeah, when I watched it and I said, okay, meaning, okay, a bunch of birds or a group of birds are attacking people, and it's like maybe like a post-apocalyptic vibe and stuff like that. Okay, maybe they're trapped in the house like we are right now. But yeah, that aside, I still said, okay, there might be something more to it. And I did some research. I watched some YouTube videos and stuff. And I got this interesting interpretation saying that it's not about the birds, it's about the woman. In the sense, in the 60s, bird was a slang term for woman, it seems. And so it's about how this guy, Mitch, has relationships or interacts with these four kinds of women: his sister, his mother, his ex, and his current lover. But here's the thing, I was not satisfied with it because my main problem with it, like you said, yeah, he does a lot of double meaning things and stuff, but it's more of like for comedic effect, right? The At least the movies which I have seen of Hitchcock, the double meanings are for comedic effect. I don't think it's like a philosophical, I will make movies about the social status of our society and how women are, how women should be viewed and stuff like that. So I feel, yeah, obviously movies are a group activity, right? So maybe the writer put this in and Hitchcock unconsciously made this into a beautiful picture or whatnot. But I was not convinced with this theory because he's more like a surface level guy. He doesn't go into philosophy. He likes the shock of it. He likes the suspense of it. That's just my take. I might be wrong again, but yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, very interesting, Shrish. Anybody else would like to contribute? What you all thought about the film? Anybody else? If you really don't feel like speaking,
Anish?
also you can put it in the chat and I can read it out. Yeah, okay. Ian has raised his hand. Go ahead, Ian. Tell me.
Yeah, so first, when I saw the movie in the beginning, movie is very baseline. So I thought that he's directing the idea exactly on women. Okay, then after that, the next idea that comes about is that the birds of that place have great animosity against those birds that the lady bought and delivered. Okay, this was my primary thinking of exactly how the director must have thought about it. But then when I see the date of the movie, like it clicked. I do not know how true this is or how whether it makes any sense. But everything that he was trying to say in that movie, like exactly pointed out to the Cold War, like the birds attacking when he says of the when the birds migrating, especially. Uh, it like made sense like the Soviet Union. I do not know whether it's making any sense, but this is just
Oh, did we lose? Did we lose Ian? I think.
I think he's back. He's back.
Is he back? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Ian.
yeah.
We just lost you for a moment. You can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, then the East Winds also that he speaks this continuously repeat about. So Eastern place, the Soviet Union. That's about it. I just thought about that the Cold War, directly interpreting the Cold War.
Yeah, that's also a very interesting take about the movie. Anybody else has? Yeah. Go ahead, Anish.
If anybody else wants to pitch in, and then I'll just summarize all of it up later.
Yeah. Anybody else? Just unmute yourself and start talking, or you can raise your hand. I'll call you out. I think you should go ahead, Anish, and then we'll see.
Okay, so at first glance, when I watched the movie, right, without any background, I kept guessing about what it's going to be around, what the theme evolved, and then I actually, like you mentioned, I kept waiting for an answer towards the end, and when there were 3 minutes, when there were 3 minutes left into the movie, when they start leaving the house and stuff like that, so I'm like, oh, only 3 minutes left, and then I'm like, will they reveal the plot? And ultimately, the plot isn't revealed. So going back, there's been a lot of thoughts among the people who watched the movie, critics, and they've drawn parallels to multiple themes. Ian spoke of the Soviet War. There was this woman theme that Shrish spoke about, because all the attacks involve Melanie, right? So they take place when Melanie is she's at the forefront. She is the centerpiece of all the attacks. There was also there was also a parallel which has been drawn to a real life incident 2 or 3 years before the movie came out, and in which there was actually an island which witnessed bird attacks like this. And there was also this theme about how the minorities, right, or the oppressed, they came up and they revolted against the powerful, or like how birds revolted against humans in the scene. So there have been a lot of parallels which have been drawn, and people kept guessing. And also, I read that this was a very loose adaptation of a book titled The Birds. But at the end of it, you never really know what Hitchcock thought about before making the movie. Maybe he just wanted it to keep plain horror, and then all of us are guessing and adding on to the suspense.
Yeah. So nobody is actually wrong here. Everybody had something to contribute, and that actually brings me very nicely to the notes I made about the film and what I wanted to discuss. So Anisha is right. The film is based on a book called The Birds, And this ties into what Ian was saying, and again what Anish said. The book was an allegory to communism and the the invasion of communists, and a little about Nazism and socialism and its threat to America, that kind of stuff. And the movie was very loosely adapted on that, but yeah, that was the main inspiration. And that's exactly what Anish and Ian pointed out. And again, like Anish said, it is based on that Montego Bay incident where there was a bird attack. And that is actually referred to in the film, right? That guy in the bar says, yeah, this had happened before, and it was the bright light which drew them in. They acted really crazy and they left. So that's actually referred to in the film very nicely by Hitchcock, because he does this kind of crazy shit. But so he included that in the film, and I thought that was really cool, like a reference to your inspiration kind of thing. That's also very nice. But yeah, I think it, even though Hitchcock doesn't usually make movies about social commentary, I think this movie was more about social commentary than anything he's ever done before. This movie is about people, not really the birds. It's about the people in the story, mainly the women. And I think that is really, that's really striking how he portrayed this in the movie. Like when, well, like she said, the title itself, the birds or chicks, or what we say chicks today, but the bird and the slang, that old bird, it does refer to a woman. And that by that Hitchcock is very coyly saying that, yeah, this movie is about women. It's not about the birds, like by real seagulls or whatever, or crows. It's about the women in the movie. And it's actually a big carry on from his last thriller, Psycho, the whole horror film. That whole film where I won't give away because I want to do Psycho also soon, but there's a nice scene in Psycho about the stabbing, and basically he used that whole he used the symbolism of a big black shadow of a bird as terror, and he carried that into this film, but made it something totally different. So yeah, and that Hitchcock cameo was very cool, but that's besides the point. So yeah, we can start in the bird shop itself, right? I will try to pull up a picture of it. 1 second. Do I have a picture? Okay, I do not have a picture, but I will start with this. We can see so much in this particular picture, right? These are the main characters involved in our particular film. And if we look at Mitch is so desperately trying to fit into that role of a father figure. He is trying to fill in that void left by his father in this particular family. Then we look at Lydia. Lydia is so scared of abandonment. She's so scared of being alone. She's so scared of losing Mitch, and she's therefore very what's the word? She's not really accepting of anybody, or she rather hates anything that would risk Mitch going away from her. It's seen with Annie in the referred how Annie referred to what happened to her and Mitch earlier, and it's seen when Melanie came to Mitch's life. She was very confrontational and very sharp about it. And then we can see Melanie herself and little Kathy, how Kathy is now looking for that mother figure in her life. She's looking for some sense of a couple in that particular family. And how Melanie herself is a very free bird, and she really doesn't want to be tied down or caged by anything. And that's kind of the center of this whole movie. Each of these characters you can draw can metaphorically be symbolized as a particular bird. Melanie is a bird who hates being in a cage and wants to fly free. Lydia is a bird who's afraid of leaving her nest and afraid of her nest being destroyed. Mitch is that bird trying to keep his whole nest in order. And Kathy is that bird who just wants to, she wants a semblance of a particular home and that structure. She wants a family. And the whole thing about the lovebirds and everything, it's so already so complicated when we start reading into people's personalities. But I like to highlight a few lines that they were made in that particular bird shop, in that pet shop when they went, right? So when she asked for these myna birds, Melanie doesn't really say. I had to write it down because it was so deep. I had to keep watching and writing what I felt. But she says that I don't want any chick. I want an adult male, and will he be able to talk for himself? And the woman there says, no, you will have to teach him to talk. So this kind of symbolizes what she wants in a man, right? She wants a strong adult male. She wants somebody who, like, can talk for themselves or whatever. But then the woman in the sketch tells you will have to teach him to talk, and she's rather taken aback by that. She's like, oh really, that's what I have to do? And she's rather withdrawn. But when Mitch comes into the same shop and asks for what he wants, he says that I want these lovebirds. I don't want them to be too demonstrative and not too aloof. I want them to be just right. And that's what he wants in a mate, right? He wants somebody who's going to come and fill in that empty gap in his family, but not disrupt his role as a father figure and the patriarch in that. So Hitchcock is just layering this with his doublespeak, this hidden meaning in every piece of dialogue. He just keeps throwing this in again and again and again. And even then, when that canary flies away and Mitch catches it, he says, "Back into your gilded cage, Melanie Daniels." And that's again what he's like. He's directly pointing it out. He's like, "Listen, you are doing your wild nonsense, jumping into fountains naked. Like that's also again a parallel, like how a bird loves jumping in bird baths. You love jumping in this pond or whatever, and so you have to get back in your cage. You cannot afford to be free and without any responsibility for your whole life." um and yeah, that's basically what I got from like just looking at the characters. Does anybody else have something to say about this? I've just been talking for so long because there's so much to say. Yashvi, Anish, maybe you could lead us on from here.
No, yeah. So yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, at least like the way you're saying about the birds and stuff. But yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, there are some parallels, like Kathy being like she wants the lovebirds, the innocence of love and stuff. Like she's saying, oh, they're perfect, and she immediately befriends Melanie and stuff like that. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. So thanks for that, I guess. Yeah, for that interpretation.
Okay, so now just going slightly further away from the birds. Okay, we have 10 minutes in this meeting. So we'll just talk about the last character I missed in this thing, and then we can talk about what the bird attacks mean as soon as we end this call. We start the new meeting. Yeah. So the next character I wanted to talk about in this particular film is Annie. So Annie, what you see is very striking to the rest of the color palette of the film is she loves wearing red. She has red nail polish on. She has that red mailbox, red clothes. This I interpreted this red theme for this particular character as a lot of love. So she really loves Mitch a lot, and that's why she moved to this little town and everything. And also red could be a little bit of jealousy because she didn't let it ever get ahead of her, but she was extremely jealous of Melanie. She was very reserved. She was very reserved when talking to Melanie. She was very reserved when talking to Melanie. She was very reserved when Melanie admitted that she liked Mitch and everything. And also that red mailbox. I interpreted the red mailbox as her longing for some communication, right? So the Hitchcock never puts anything into a film just for the sake of it. Everything has some little meaning in it, and every time you reanalyze, you find something new. And I thought the red mailbox would be like her waiting for some communication from Mitch or something like that, because she still loved him. It was very clear. And yeah, so that's what I thought. This particular character had so much red in her personality. Yeah, Anish, you want to say something?
Yeah, and also when she meets Melanie for the first time, and then she asks about uh, the name, right? Mitch's sister's name. So then when Melanie says that the postman said it had to be Alice or Lois. So then she like maybe that's why the mail never reaches the right post box in this town. So
Precisely.
there too she can be seen as being slightly passive aggressive, saying she's always been here waiting for Mitch, but then Melanie's come down from San Francisco, and she doesn't want to make it obvious, but then her there's this subtle tone of jealousy that can be seen about the way she carries herself.
Yes, exactly. Avantika messaged in the chat saying that her hair looks like crows, and that's probably why she's probably behind this whole thing, which is a very big possibility because all these, I think my internet's dropping a second, but all these problems always happened when Melanie got too close to Mitch or something like that happened whenever it triggered Annie. So yeah, Annie could be behind the whole thing. We'll never know because the film never makes that very clear. So yeah, anybody else has something about the characters they'd like to point out? Anything at all of any character before we move on? Anybody? Divya, Ian, maybe? Leandra, anyone? Okay, then I think we will, I'll end this call. We have about 5 minutes left. Which is someone messaging chat box. Oh, and then she dies. She says, yeah, so about the death also, I will talk about that in the next part. I will discuss why the birds kept attacking at every point of time. I also wrote a little about that in my notes about why I think the birds attacked. Oh yeah, before we end, why do you guys think the birds really attacked? What do you think was causing the bird attacks? It wasn't random. It wasn't very natural, like that ornithologist told everybody, right? She was trying to find the scientific explanation for the whole thing. So that wasn't really happening. So, what do you guys think? Why do you think the birds were attacking?
I mean, when I read up, right, so there is definitely a scientific ideology behind the actual bird attack that happened in Montego Bay, who's been referenced, right? They talk about algae and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were
So
getting
yes,
drunk
so that
basically.
is the scientific part of it, yeah. But again, if you look at the attacks closely, right, they always revolve around Melanie. And ultimately, when the birds attack Melanie and she's wounded, right? So then the attack stops, even though there are so many birds outside. They
Mm-hmm.
are outside the house when they're leaving. None of them aggressive. So the attack subsides after she's attacked. So somewhere along the line, she has to be the the central figure around which the attacks evolve. And maybe you can talk about it in the next meet.
Yeah, exactly. So it is centered around Melanie, right? The attacks are centered around Melanie. Every time there's a significant moment happening in Melanie's life or Melanie's relationship with Mitch, to be more particular, that's when the bird attack happens, right? We see like the first attack happens when she is on the boat going to meet Mitch. The second attack happens when she goes to Annie and she admits to Annie that she wants to go for that party. Right? She says, "I admit I do have feelings for him. I want to go for the party." The seagull cashes in there. At the party, as soon as you see a little dynamic change between them, the whole facade drops, and they stop banter flirting with each other, and they start actually, conversing. That's when the birds attack again. As soon as they are in the home, and suddenly she's just getting accepted into that family, the birds enter down the chimney. As soon as she's getting close to Kathy by picking up in school, the birds attack again. So she's getting close to Mitch in that bar, right? Mitch comes to her first, doesn't talk to any of his friends in the village. The birds attack again. They're at home. As soon as they go back home and they have a little family moment, the birds attack again. So yeah, it is that. So whenever there's something significant happening to Melanie, the birds attack, and we can read into that. Okay, so I will stop the meeting right now. I'll send you the new link within a minute, and we can resume. Okay. So yeah.